I'm very happy that we made a contribution from an executive side. Parliament made their contribution, the judiciary made their contribution, civil society, to the National Action Plan on Open Government. Because it is our collective responsibility as Kenyans to make sure that Kenya succeeds. It is not the business of the president alone. It's the business of every Kenyan for us to succeed, because in that success is everybody's success. Let me also say the following, that as we do this, I want to assure all the stakeholders here that the government of Kenya that I run will continue to be open. I have absolutely no qualms in being held to account. I encourage civil society to continue telling us the things we are doing wrong so that we can correct. And to occasionally
tell you the things you're doing right.
Yes.
I was waiting for that to come.
and occasionally, you know, when we get things right, they also tell us, this you're getting right, do it better or do it more. So that way we can forge, you know, a collaboration that makes Kenya great for all of us. Let me conclude by saying, because there is a feasible, demonstrable, real trust gap between citizens and government across the globe.
Yeah.
You know, there is, you know, there is a trust deficit. There is a trust gap. I want to welcome you and the people here and representatives from our friends from the international community to a trust summit here in Nairobi, the first one in the first quarter of next year, so that we can evaluate what do we do to close the gap, the trust gap between government and citizens. Because unless we do that, it becomes difficult for government to implement its plan and for citizens also to hold government to account.
Thank you. How is your administration harnessing these tech-driven opportunities? And how do you plan to balance those opportunities and grabbing them with mitigating the risks that come with technology, as was outlined?
Number one, we rolled out the Hustler Fund. 12 billion shillings in it already. 22 million Kenyans are beneficiaries. Today we have 2 million Kenyans every day borrowing from the Hustler Fund. It is delivered on a technology platform. It is the single government project that has no corruption, because technology has provided the framework to make sure that we insulate it from, just imagine, if we were disputing or giving out Hustler Fund using committees at every location, it would be hell. It would be chaos. But look at what technology has done. It has made it seamless, it has made it transparent, it's made it easy. Let me also give you another example. Means testing instrument. Again, when we are giving out our university funding model, means testing instrument that is run on technology is giving us the leverage to be able to know which student can benefit from what. Let me also tell you one more thing, that in our plan to deal with the challenges that face us, the demographic dividend that we have, one of the items that we are working on is how we are going to use technology to create digital jobs. As I speak to you, we have close to 120,000 young people in our TVETs and in other institutions that today monetize their digital expertise. So we are leveraging on technology to create jobs tomorrow. I will be signing an agreement with President Scholz in Germany, again, to leverage on technology to access opportunities for Kenyans to work in Germany physically or to work in Germany through a digital platform. So we are leveraging on the digital space to create jobs, to deliver government services, as I said, with the Hustler Fund, to make sure that it helps us, assists us sort out challenges that we have. But also, there are challenges.
Yeah.
While building the ecosystem to leverage on technology and the digital space for advancement, there will be challenges. It is the reason why we are discussing now with Parliament on how to enact regulations on AI, regulations around the digital space to make sure that the negative, misinformation, disinformation, fake news does not rob us of the opportunity to use technology to drive our development. Because I am a great believer that technology gives us the largest opportunity for us to catch up with the rest of the world. It is the reason why I appointed a technology envoy, Mr. Thigo, who is not, unfortunately, is not here because of travel problems. He was coming from somewhere, he got stuck because of the situation we have. But it is the reason I also want us not to miss the opportunity. In fact, misinformation, disinformation, fake news should not rob us of the opportunity to take advantage of the opportunity technology and artificial intelligence gives us. We do not want another opportunity to be left behind. It is an opportunity for us to develop talent around technology and AI. It is an opportunity for us to develop expertise. And it is an opportunity for us not to be left behind, again, as we have done in the past, that this time round, we want to be up to speed with the rest of the world in making sure that technology, AI become part of the ecosystem, and we all benefit from it and avoid another digital or AI divide. I have made a commitment, and you've heard the Speaker of Senate say, we did agree that public participation is not a sterile provision of the Constitution. It must amount to something. And it is the reason why we've been grappling as a nation, how do we actualize public participation? We are now working on legislation, as you've heard. In a couple of months, we should now have a framework that contextualizes, creates a framework for citizens to meaningfully participate in enacting policy, enacting legislation, and every act of government that requires the public to participate in. That is number one. Number two, we have now work at the Attorney General's office, and I want to ask the civil society who are present here to work with the Attorney General as we improve 3 pieces of legislation. Number one, improve legislation on Evidence Act so that we can deal with matters corruption in the shortest time possible. Improve legislation on e-procurement and make government procurement open, including making sure that it is in the public domain which contracts have been awarded, for how much money, to which companies. And so that the public can judge for themselves whether they are getting value for money or they are being taken for a ride. I have made that commitment. The work is in the Attorney General's office. I welcome Zalendo. I welcome all the other civil society groups to participate in bringing this legislation to the fore. And I'm very happy with this framework because the civil society that is present here would have chosen to come here with vuvuzela and placards. But they have chosen...
Sometimes they might still have to do that.
But they've come here to say, okay, what are the challenges that we have? How do we meaningfully contribute, institutionalize the solutions rather than pander on the problems, on the challenges? How do we institutionalize solutions? How do we bring legislation? How do we create institutions? How do we put a policy framework in place? And you have said yourself, it's easy to pontificate about the challenges we have.
Yeah.
It is difficult to frame the solutions. I am very happy with open government partnership. It gives us an opportunity with the judiciary, with the legislature, with the executive, with civil society, with the private sector, to figure out how we solve problems together. And this is why I believe in this framework.